Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. That's what I'm talking about. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2026 Campus Life Awards ceremony. Today we gather to celebrate students whose leadership, service, scholarship, advocacy, creativity, and care have made Brown stronger. We are here to honor recipients of the Yat Kay Tao Prize, the Joukowsky Scholar Athlete Award, the Susan Pilch Friedman Excellence Award in Women's Leadership, the Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award, and the Alfred H. Joslin Award. Together, these awards recognize something essential about the Brown experience, that learning does not happen only in classrooms, labs, studios, or libraries. It also happens in the ways students build community, support one another, take courageous action, and create spaces where others can thrive. As Vice President for Campus Life, I have the privilege of seeing every day how students contribute to the life of this university. Some lead through formal roles, some lead quietly by noticing who's missing, who needs support, or where Brown can become more welcoming, more equitable, and more connected. Some lead through research, service, mentorship, art, athletics, advocacy, or care. What unites today's honorees is that they have each made Brown better, not only for themselves, but for others. To our award recipients, today we celebrate your accomplishments, but we also celebrate the spirit behind them. Your commitment to community reminds us that Brown's mission is lived through people. Through your example, you have helped your peers feel seen, supported, and invited to participate fully in the life of this university. To the families, friends, faculty, staff, coaches, mentors, and community partners here today, thank you. These students' achievements reflect their own dedication, and they also reflect the web of support that has encouraged, challenged, and sustained them along the way. I also want to thank my many colleagues across Campus Life, the Dean of the College, athletics, our selection committees, who helped make today possible. Your work reflects Brown's shared responsibility for student thriving. We have a wonderful program ahead, and it is now my pleasure to welcome Ethan Pollack, Dean of the College, who will introduce the Yat Kay Tao Prize.
Thank you, Pat. It's a pleasure to be here and to celebrate with you all. The Yat Kay Tao Prize was established in 1991 by the family of Yat Kay Tao, a class of 41 graduate, and in his memory, and it's funded by his family and friends. Born in Canton, China, Mr. Tao emigrated to the United States at the age of 10 to join his father and grandfather, who were pioneers in the Chinese restaurant business. A successful restaurant owner, Yat Kay Tao was a prominent Rhode Island business and civic leader throughout his life. Mr. Tao was also an engaged Brown alum and served as a class marshal at the Brown University Bicentennial. He sponsored and hosted international students and families and was an official interpreter for the non-English-speaking Chinese community in Rhode Island. This prize is to be given once a year at commencement to 2 students who show great promise to continue their development as an outstanding citizen, as evidenced by their community engagement and engaged scholarship. And so without further ado, I am pleased to introduce Elizabeth Burke Bryant, Professor of the Practice of Health Services, Policy and Practice, to present this distinguished award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is absolutely a thrill to present the prestigious Yat Kay Tao Prize to Tori Hippen. This is particularly exciting because when I was growing up, my parents were huge fans of Tao and his wife Lily's Ming Garden restaurant that was truly an institution in downtown Providence. And they were very fond of the entire Tao family. I have also had the opportunity to work on education issues with Tao's granddaughter, Heather Tao Yick. So it is a full circle moment, and Heather is with other members of the family, and it is great to be reunited with Heather as well. This past semester, I had the pleasure of having Tori Hippen in my Master of Public Health Capstone Policy Brief course. She exhibits every quality recognized by this award, including a strong academic record, close collaboration with community organizations that focus on the greater Providence area, and a commitment to partnership, shared leadership, and self-reflection. As so well stated by her nominator, Professor Mark Lurie, what distinguishes Tori is her ability to move seamlessly between systems-level thinking and deeply personal, community-centered engagement, consistently bridging analysis, leadership, and human connection to her work. One of the most compelling examples of Tori's community-engaged work was her independent leadership of a comprehensive economic and public health impact evaluation of the Rhode Island Free Clinic, which provides free, comprehensive medical care to uninsured, low-income adults. This was an enormous undertaking, and Tori jumped in with excellence, initiative, and purpose. In addition, she also volunteers at Miriam Hospital's emergency department and has participated in outreach efforts to support individuals experiencing homelessness in Rhode Island. In addition, she has shown extraordinary personal initiative in building up the interdisciplinary community at Brown. As founder and president of the Graduate Medical Humanities Initiative, she has created a space that bridges public health, medicine, the arts, and the humanities across Brown's Medical School, the School of Public Health, and the Rhode Island School of Design. I watched the dedication with which Tori approached the development of her policy brief in my class. With passion and commitment that comes from her lived experience as a childhood cancer survivor, Tori focused on policy solutions to address the high cost of medications for cancer treatment, calling financial toxicity a cancer patient's second diagnosis. When these awards were being introduced, it was commented on that learning happens outside the classroom. And for Tori, learning also happened inside the State House, where she gave mock testimony in a very real hearing and did advocacy work on this issue throughout the semester. As she summed up so well, no one should go bankrupt to survive cancer or have to stop treatment or forego other basic needs to keep on fighting. She said, this is a policy problem, and it's one we have the power and the ability to solve. Her passion for policy solutions that will improve healthcare equity and health and economic outcomes shined through in every aspect of my class. Her career goal is to work at the intersection of public health, advocacy, and primary care practice. I have no doubt that Tori Hippen will use her energy, intellect, leadership skills, sense of purpose, and true compassion to change the world. Thank you for everything you've done.
Andrea Flores, Associate Professor of Education, will present the next Tao Prize to Nicholas Min Ho Lee.
It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Nicholas Minho Lee as one of the 2026 recipients of the Yat K Tao Prize. This prize, Nick, represents your tireless dedication to educational equity within and beyond Brown and Rhode Island's urban core. Nick, I'm so very proud of you, as is the whole education department. I knew of Nick Lee and his work for educational equity at Brown and in Providence before I met Nick Lee. I only have 2 minutes, so I can't go through the many impressive things Nick has done. He has taken an active leadership role within Brown, serving as a class president and as a member of the Board of Governors, as a voting undergraduate member of the College Curricular Council, and as one of the authors of New Language Contextualizing Standardized Testing for the Brown website. But Nick didn't just stop at Brown. Nick has been engaged as a leader and president of SEE, Students for Educational Equity, since he was a first year. He has worked tirelessly at the level of both Brown and state governance, including introducing legislation at the State House to create more transparent and open pathways towards college admissions. Nick doesn't close the door behind him, he opens it for others. He has worked extensively within Providence Public School District in classroom and policy circles, serving on the PPSD Equity Council, drawing on his concurrent experiences as a multi-language learning assistant in the classroom. In my discussions with Nick about this work, he thinks big about what truly just and high-quality public education looks like, but he also wants to make sure it looks like that in practice. A glance at Nick's impressive resume shows the range of his commitments to education: policy research, family service legal intake, curriculum design, classroom work. He takes every commitment seriously and works in collaborative, humble ways with community partners. He is a model of how students can engage in Providence, not as their civic playground, but as genuine community members working in solidarity and with respect. Nick is a brilliant student, excelling in his demanding coursework. He has greatly enriched the classes I have taught with his sharp analytical skills, his passion for learning, and his genuine care for understanding the lives of others and working to take those classroom practices to the world. Next year, Nick will continue this work as a middle school math teacher. I know your students will be so lucky to have you. I have been so lucky to get to be your teacher. And I can think of no one else more deserving of this award. Thank you, Nick.
Sean Hendricks, Senior Associate Director of Athletics for Student Athlete Development, will introduce the Joukowsky Scholar Athlete Awards.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you, and congratulations to all of today's recipients. The Joukowsky Scholar Athlete Award was established by the late Artemis A.W. Joukowsky and Martha Sharp Joukowsky. It is awarded annually to 2 Brown students, 1 male, 1 female, who embody the best qualities of the scholar athlete by achieving success both in the classroom and in athletic competition, a reflection of Brown's commitment to the totality of individual accomplishment. Artemis A.W. Joukowsky, Brown class of 1955, served as Chancellor of Brown University from 1997 to 1998 and Vice Chancellor from 1988 to 1997. He served on the Corporation Board of Trustees from 1985 to 2009. His wife, Martha Sharp Joukowsky, was a trustee emerita and associate professor emerita of the Institute for Archaeology and the Ancient World, and a member of the Brown faculty from 1982 to 2002. Please welcome field hockey head coach Britt Brody, who will present the Joukowsky Student Athlete Award to Lucy Adams.
there's a lot more people in the room than I thought there was since I was in the third row. And I think if I knew I had to speak rather than Lucy speaking, I think I would have maybe nominated her for a different award. Outwork, that's it. That's Lucy Adams' personal mantra, one word. And once you know that about her, everything else makes sense. On the field, Lucy has rewritten the record books at Brown University. She is the first two-time All-American in program history, the first player ever to earn all-region honors every year of her career, and the first to be named first-team All-Ivy 3 times. And the one year she wasn't, season-ending injury, and she was only awarded second-team All-Ivy. What a slacker. Lucy is also awarded the Marjorie Brown Smith Award, presented annually to Brown's top female varsity athlete. Last year, Lucy was named to the United States Women's Senior National Team, where she helped Team USA win the silver medal match at the Pan American Games, qualifying the U.S. for the 2026 Hockey World Cup. Most recently, she was named to the travel squad for the upcoming FIH Women's Nations Cup in New Zealand. That means a lot in my world. You guys are probably like, I don't know, is that good? It means that she is one of the top 18 women in the entire country to play our sport. And yet she stands in the corner. What makes Lucy truly exceptional is that none of this happened instead of academics. It happened alongside. Lucy is one of the few Division I athletes to earn NFHCA Scholar of Distinction honors with a cumulative GPA above 3.9. There's only about 40 in the entire country. Every early morning lift, every red-eye flight home from an international tournament, every grueling Ivy League road trip, especially the trip home from Ithaca, and she still showed up to class prepared and ready to excel. She's never asked for standards to change due to her barely possible schedule. One of Lucy's favorite quotes is, "Almost everything I've achieved once felt impossible." The difference between impossible and achieved for Lucy has always been one thing: outwork. Every single day in the classroom and on the field, Lucy has outworked expectations, outworked obstacles, and outworked the competition. And today, this university honors all of that work in the way it deserves. I don't think I need a magic 8-ball to let you know that she will outwork her way in the 2028 Olympics. So keep an eye out for her. Congratulations to this year's Joukowsky Scholar Athlete Award, Lucy Adams.
Paul Cook, head coach for men's crew, will now present the Joukowsky Student Athlete Award to Thomas Griffin.
So I knew Art Joukowsky and Martha well, and I know they would really appreciate what's going on here today, and just honoring student athletes was one of their favorite things to do. I got to sit in Art's house, which was full of archaeological relics of like amazing background, so it means a lot for me to present this award to Tom. And great to have some of his teammates here for showing up and supporting him. So thanks for that. And congratulations to all the award winners today. Tom Griffin has embodied a passion for learning and a drive for excellence, both inside and outside the boathouse, since he stepped foot on Brown's campus in the fall of 2022. Having started in the 4th varsity boat as a freshman to racing in the 1st varsity boat that finished 5th in the country as a junior, Tom has been unrelenting in his drive to be the best at whatever he puts his mind to. Tom's rise to the varsity 8 his junior year coincided with him winning the English department's Robinson Potter Dunn Premium, which is awarded to the student in their junior year with the highest standing in courses taken in the English department, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to excellence across the board. Tom began his senior championship season in the stroke seat position of the varsity boat and has been a key performer in victories over Yale, Dartmouth, Northeastern, and others. The crew has been ranked in the top 10 nationally all season and will race for the national championships next weekend. This also coincides with Tom presenting his honors thesis, being accepted to Oxford University's master's program in English and American Studies, and maintaining a 4.0 GPA. Tom's work ethic has been second to none. He is early to practice and the last to leave, and has achieved at an exceptional level at the Boathouse whilst thriving under a rigorous course load. He is uncompromising in his vision to be a great student athlete and will be remembered as a role model on the team for years to come. It's my honor to present this award to Tom. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of the people who helped put this event together, and to Brown for recognizing excellence the way that it's being done. Thank you.
Susan Pilch Friedman, class of 77, parent 08, 2026 Doctor of Humane Letters honorary degree recipient, will introduce the Pilch Friedman Awards.
Good afternoon. I am Susan Pilch Friedman, Brown class of 1977. That was 49 years ago, and parent 2008. I would like to start by giving you a brief background of the Brown Women's Leadership Council. I was appointed by then President Ruth Simmons as its first chair in 2004, over 25 years ago. The council developed into a vibrant and diverse community of Brown female leaders, mentors, and philanthropists. We personally mentored thousands of Brown seniors and worked to institutionalize one-on-one mentoring with Brown alumni through the Women's Launchpad. A decade ago, when I turned 60 years old, I was presented at my birthday celebration with the most extraordinary and priceless gift. 20 Brown friends, including friends, Brown parents, and my daughter, class of 2008, presented me with a gift in my honor, to have in perpetuity the Susan Pilch Friedman Excellence Award, given each year during commencement weekend to the most deserving Brown female senior or seniors who represent the spirit of the true Brown women, who have the courage to lead with conviction and the heart to lead with purpose. You see, leadership is not about a title. It's about the lives of the people you touch and the paths you pave. This marks the 11th time this award is being given out. And for me, this is the first time that I am here in person to present the award to the recipients. It gives me such great pleasure to be here and to congratulate both women. But first, I'd like to welcome the Professor of Engineering. I hope I pronounce your name correctly, and if I don't, please apologize. Anubhav Tripathi, who will present the Susan Pilch Friedman Awards to the two deserving seniors.
Thank you very much. Very nicely said. Women who are dedicated for Brown University and the community. So there is this with you, and you can read a lot about Alejandra. So I've made a summary of that. so that otherwise I will speak forever here. So it's my great honor, and when I say it's our great honor, means I'm on behalf of myself and my dear colleague, Dean Desai, I stand here to actually celebrate and honor Alejandra. So it's our honor to introduce Alejandra Hernandez Moyers, a remarkable leader whose impact at Brown University extends from research laboratory to weight room to a broader Brown community. Dual concentrator in neuroscience and biomedical engineering, Alejandra has independently led groundbreaking thesis project developing endometrial organoid models to advance women's reproductive health, a field historically underserved by scientific research. As president of Brown RISD chapter of Girls Gain, she has built a 500+ member organization dedicated to empowering women in fitness space, securing exclusive gym access for over 65 underrepresented students, and launching a weekly weightlifting program for young women at the Providence Boys and Girls Club. Let's talk about the mentorship. Her commitment to mentorship runs equally very deep, actually. She serves as a head of undergraduate teaching assistant for Principles of Physiology, coordinates the summer transition engineering program for incoming engineering students, and volunteers as a leader for Camp Kesem, supporting teenagers whose families are affected by cancer. In every space she enters, Alejandra works deliberately and generously to lift others up. And we are so proud of this recognized talent she has, and she will carry on with her as she transitions to MIT. One more thing I just want to say, which is very special, which we noticed, about all engineering communities noticed, after a December event, Alejandra dedicated herself to every community exercise we did during December, January, February time to make sure that she is in the front, whether it's a hug, whether it's a program in Ever True. And that actually made her so visible, helping community lift out of a sadness which we got. That makes Alejandra a real Brown woman leader, and we are all so proud about. And at this stage, I would say that Alejandra stands here to represent, she born and raised in Mexico City, and represent all the community coming not only for United States, but also from Mexican American. With that, I would say that Alejandra, you truly deserve this and even more, and we are all so proud of you at the Brown community. Congratulations.
Shiloh McBurney, Assistant Professor of Epidemiology, will now present the second Pilch Friedman Award to Kara Elizabeth Hutton.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce Kara Hutton, recipient of the Susan Pilch Friedman Excellence Award in Women's Leadership. Kara was one of my students last semester in a new One Health focused course at the School of Public Health. She immediately stood out in class due to her warmth and professionalism, as well as her enthusiasm for learning in a class full of master's and doctoral students. Although I've only had the benefit of knowing her for a short time, those who know her better than I do have spoken to her curiosity, strong work ethic, and empathy. She is also praised for her commitment to collaboration, which was evident from the outset in my course. Kara has since shared with me the significant work she has done in her role as co-president for the Planned Parenthood Advocates at Brown over the last 2 years. In this volunteer position, Kara led the rebuilding of the club, with an emphasis on student-led advocacy at a time when reproductive health, education, and justice are under threat. In this position, she undertook the opportunity to mentor junior students, offering them support and guidance, and expanded the network to include 600 students who are passionate about reproductive justice, 30 of which are regular attendees. Kara has also been a Generation Action intern for Planned Parenthood Votes Rhode Island since her sophomore year, which has allowed her to have a positive and direct impact on the community around her through several initiatives designed to enhance education, safety, and legislation around reproductive health. Kara's focus on building strong relationships with underserved communities, such as local domestic violence shelters and harm reduction clinics, has been integral to the work that she does and should serve as a model for effective public health practice. Driven, compassionate people like Kara who value community and collaboration are needed to strengthen and drive the next iteration of the field of public health. Her leadership qualities and emphasis on uplifting the women around her makes her so deserving of this award. I am very proud of her accomplishments and cannot wait to watch her career progress. Please give a round of applause for Kara.
Please welcome back Dr. Patricia Poitevin, Vice President for Campus Life, to introduce the Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Awards.
Hey everybody, it's me again. I am honored to introduce the Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award. This award recognizes doctoral and master's students who have made significant contributions to the sense of community at Brown through service, teaching, research, advising, mentoring, and the many interpersonal connections that shape daily life on our campus. Award recipients demonstrate both breadth and depth of engagement, and through their participation in the lives of their peers and the broader Brown community, they reflect the highest ideals of citizenship, engaged scholarship, and care. Graduate students play such an important role in Brown's academic and community life. They are scholars, teachers, researchers, mentors, advocates, colleagues, and friends. They help create the intellectual and relational environment in which others learn, grow, and thrive. This year's recipients remind us that graduate student leadership takes many forms. It can look like expanding accessibility and equity in graduate spaces. It can look like mentoring students who are finding their way into research for the very first time. It can look like building community for students of color, supporting refugee youth, advancing reproductive justice, promoting public health, or translating scholarship into service beyond Brown. What connects these honorees is a deep commitment to bettering the lives of others. They have not only pursued excellence in their fields, they have used their time, talent, and leadership to strengthen the communities around them. It is now my pleasure to bring to the stage Peter Belenki to present the 2026 Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award.
It is such a great pleasure to introduce Dr. Melanie Ortiz Alvarez de la Campa for the Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award. So I've had the pleasure of being Mel's advisor for their PhD since Mel joined the program. And as a result, I've seen Mel develop over the years into an exceptional scientist, but also somebody that lives the practice of science. And I really think that's why Mel is receiving this award. Mel takes science very seriously, and not just on the bench, but as a responsibility to other people, as a practice. Communication, mentorship, advocacy, outreach, community building are all deeply integrated into how Mel approaches their work. It was just said how important graduate students are for the undergraduate learning. Recently, a fabulous undergraduate has left our lab with an honors thesis, which would not have been possible without Mel. So lots of these small and very large contributions are why Mel is getting this award. Mel is also an amazing scientist. So Dr. Mel studied how early life stress, so something that happens to us early in life, contributes to changes in our gut microbial communities and how that can lead to persistent behavioral changes such as anxiety. And that's really impressive in mice. And hopefully positive events kind of, at different times will lead to long-term beneficial changes in the microbiome. So I hope this is one of these events for you, Mel. So alongside this incredible work, Mel also invested enormously in the Brown community. Mel chaired peer mentoring for the pathobiology program for 2 years, was involved in graduate student advocacy through leadership on the Graduate Student Council, and consistently worked to support both graduate and undergraduate students. Mel also built communities beyond the lab. They co-founded the Brown Science Diplomacy and helped create new opportunities for graduate students to engage in science outreach the same way that Mel does through policy and outreach in the US and around the world. Outside of Brown, Mel founded Sensei Patodes, or Science for Everyone, a science communication initiative in Puerto Rico that has been active for 6 years and has reached communities through outreach, public discussions, journal publications, even an article in the journal Science, and finally, and really cool, a children's science book that promotes science literacy. I have read Mel's articles so many times, and each time I've learned something new. So thank you, Mel. All right, so I'll end with this. When Mel defended their thesis, which was very recent and lots of emotions about it, Mel received what was essentially a 5-minute standing ovation. We could not end it to get questions out. And I think that's a reflection of how awesome the work was, but also a reflection of how deeply Mel impacted the people around them through science, commitment to others, and honestly, I cannot imagine a more deserving person for this award. Mel, thank you.
Andrew Vincent, Assistant Director for the Brown Center for Students of Color, will now present a Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award to Bahati Nakira.
I'm sure we're all curious what's inside here. All right, here it is.
All right. When I first started at Brown almost 3 years ago, I was told to meet Bahati, my graduate student coordinator, who had already been hired, at a graduate welcome reception. So through the mix of orientation, welcoming folks into campus while I was also getting my own orientation, I found him through the crowd, and he started introducing me right away to one leader after another. And in that moment, I got my first glimpse into his element as a community leader in his own right. I am so proud to be a part of Bahati's journey today and here at Brown. including, of course, his recent addition of PhD in neuroscience to his accolades. During his time as a PhD candidate at Brown, Bahati has ably served in many roles, such as social chair for NABRIT, Brown's Black Graduate Student Association, and as a prep mentor, supporting students in developing professional skills and preparing doctoral applications. Of course, I'd be remiss to not mention his multiple years at the BCSC as a graduate student coordinator for the Graduate Students of Color Initiative, GSHOC, that has left such a lasting impact on me and many of the graduate students of color and beyond. One such example of Bahati's exemplary programs that first year we worked together was called Where Memories Dwell Before They Come to Mind. This was a sold-out interdisciplinary performance, blending jazz and poetry inspired by Toni Morrison's The Sight of Memory, and invited audience members to reflect on memory, history, and identity. More recently, Bahati led the BCSC's Black History Month Poetry Night, where he raised nearly $1,000, the proceeds of which went to DARE, the Direct Action for Rights and Equality, a Providence-based nonprofit supporting low-income communities of color. While Bahati's community involvement is amazing on so many levels, it is the care in which he places his planning and consideration for the community that truly makes Bahati stand out. In our weekly meetings, Bahati always showed how tapped into the community he is by bringing in real-time issues that he was witnessing play out on campus, and always bringing ideas in which we could do to address them in our roles. And half the time, let's be honest, you were already 3 steps ahead, so I always appreciated that. And more than that, I appreciate how you always push the boundaries of what is possible for the sake of the community around you. And I encourage you to keep doing that, Bahati. So whether it's in the lab or putting the finishing touches on an expert program, Bahati's work has always spoken loudly for itself. And I'm so proud to call you up here and present this award to you, Bahati. So thank you so much.
Tanya Purdy, Director of Be Well Health Promotion, will now present a Graduate Student Contribution to Community Life Award to Ambry Robinson.
Hi, folks. All right, Ambry reflects the absolute best of Brown, and her impact as a leader is truly remarkable. At the center of Ambry's leadership is her passion to help others, to push boundaries for justice, to deeply understand health disparities, and dismantle the systems that perpetuate them. Through community organizing and direct skills practice as a Be Well research assistant, the communications chair for the Graduate Student Council, a graduate student assistant for the Reproductive Justice Collaborative, and a TA for maternal and child health, Ambry has had immeasurable impact. When you hear this list of leadership roles, you may immediately picture an overachiever who has stretched themselves too thin trying to do it all. Ambry, instead, has woven each of these areas of responsibility together in a way that only a person with a sophisticated understanding of systems, community building, and connection can. Ambry effectively engages with stakeholders across multiple sectors of the Brown community, whether with faculty in the School of Public Health or Gender and Sexuality Studies, or with clinicians in student health services. Ambry sees and makes connections where others can't, making her impact and engagement broad and deep. Ambry's harm reduction work across these disciplines has taken the shape of patient education materials for sexual health, raising awareness about synthetic cannabis, and training our community on the life-saving use of opioid antagonists. In addition, Ambry has truly been a model of engaged citizenship and scholarship as an organizer of the Reproductive Justice Collaborative, consistently centering the needs of undergraduate and graduate students through an extremely challenging political climate for reproductive justice work. Ambry, I know you will use your considerable skills and expertise for the betterment of each new community you join after Brown. It's been an honor to witness your brilliance. I can't imagine Brown without you, but we promise to keep your legacy burning bright by continuing to do the work that you started. Thank you.
Please welcome back Dr. Patricia Poitevin, Vice President for Campus Life, to introduce the Alfred H. Joslin Awards.
Don't worry, this is the last time I'm coming up on stage. So I'm delighted to introduce the Alfred H. Joslin Award. The Joslin Award is given on behalf of the university by the Division of Campus Life to a small group of seniors who have contributed in a very significant way to the quality of student life at Brown. Honorees demonstrate breadth and involvement across campus, as well as meaningful depth in one or more areas of leadership, service, or community engagement. Through their work, they have advanced not only their own liberal education, but also the learning environment and lived experience of their peers. This award carries forward the legacy of Judge Alfred H. Joslin, a member of the Brown class of 1936, a longtime member of the corporation, and the first chair of the Corporation Committee on Student Life. His service reflected an abiding concern for the interests and welfare of undergraduates, and it is fitting that this award honors students who have shown that same commitment to the Brown community. This year's Joslin's recipients have built communities of care, advocacy, wellness, belonging, creativity, and joy. They have supported first-generation and low-income students, immigrant students, international students, Black students, LGBTQ+ students, students navigating mental health challenges, and students seeking connection through service, arts, athletics, civic engagement, and peer mentorship. Some of their leadership has been highly visible. Some of it has happened in quieter moments: a conversation, a welcome, a resource shared, a student helped through a transition, a community made stronger because someone chose to care. The Joslin Award reminds us that student life is not separate from Brown's academic mission. It is part of how students learn to lead, to serve, to listen, to build community, and to use their education with purpose. It's now my honor to bring to the stage Julio Reyes, who will begin the presentation of our 2026 Alfred H. Joslin Award recipients.
So I'm going to read this first, and then I'll put the stoles on you. It's truly an honor to introduce Katie Palma Ramirez and Axel Martinez. During their time at Brown, they helped build a community where undocumented students and students from mixed-status families could speak openly about their experiences and know that they were not alone. That was something, yes. That was something many students from this community had not previously experienced at Brown. Through their leadership in co-founding the Brown Dream Team, Katie and Axel helped bring visibility and voice to a student community that often had to navigate college quietly and without major recognition. They created spaces for students to share their experiences and to advocate for their specific needs as undocumented students, so they could truly be supported and feel like they fully belong here at Brown. One of those spaces, at least informally, was the area outside of my office at the Youth Life Center, where Katie and Axel were almost always sitting in the large orange lounge chairs. They're not that cute, but they're there. That was their spot. During one school year, that area even became the informal meeting space for the Brown Dream Team. It was where students gathered to talk, laugh, decompress, strategize, and support one another. Over time, those chairs turned into a gathering place that reflected the community Katie and Axel built at Brown. Their leadership pushed administrators to listen more closely to the realities undocumented students face. They also helped other students find their own voices. Those students saw that their stories mattered and that they deserved to be seen and supported here too. And while we're recognizing Katie and Axel, this award also honors the many students who helped build the Brown Dream Team alongside them, and the undocumented and mixed status students whose courage and trust helped shape this community into what it is today. Because of their leadership, more students now know that their stories, experiences, and voices have a place at Brown. And to quote them and use their infamous motto, I think that's beautiful. Katie and Axel, thank you so much for reminding us that in difficult moments, there's still beauty around us. Congratulations.
Takia Smith, Social Wellness Coordinator for Be Wealth Health Promotion, will now present the second Jocelyn Award to Olivia Marie Baptiste.
Okay. All right, so today I have the honor of recognizing someone who has truly left her mark on Brown in so many ways. Olivia Baptiste has been a leader across campus as president of the Black Student Union, a standout student athlete on Brown Rugby, a biomedical engineering researcher, and a dedicated leader within Be Well as a coordinator for the Brown University Relaxation Project, better known as BURP. And somehow, while balancing all of that, she has remained one of the warmest, funniest, and most welcoming people you could meet. If you met Olivia, you know exactly what I mean. She has the ability to make people instantly feel comfortable and included. BURP students even coined the name Oberptiste just because she doesn't just teach wellness, she models it and mentors others. As Olivia always understood, BURP is about connection, community, care, and creating spaces where students can finally exhale during stressful moments. Under her leadership, BURP became a place where people could laugh, decompress, and feel supported. She mentored over 100 student volunteers and somehow still found time to answer emails at a lightning speed, check in on students, and somehow show up fully for others. And when I say show up, I mean show up. After both giving and taking unbelievable hard hits during rugby, somehow, within 24 hours, this girl was already back riding around campus on her scooter, coming to BURP events, going to meetings, massaging others, and also studying, of course, and mentoring, and being an unshakable leader in the Brown community. Honestly, watching her made us realize that we're not using our 24 hours properly. And speaking of rugby, I'll never forget the first time I saw her play. The crowd was yelling, "OBAP!" every 5 seconds. People were holding up baby pictures of her, and her energy was just unreal. You could feel immediately how loved and celebrated she is in the Brown community. I got to see her dedication in supporting others being given back to her out there on the field.
And one of our Be Well staff members is without question one of her biggest fans, which honestly makes sense because Olivia has that effect on people. She brings energy, joy, as you can clearly hear out here, consistency, and care in every space she enters like nobody else can. Olivia, you are a mentor, a teammate, a leader, and very genuinely a light in people's lives. Brown is a better place because you're here, and this recognition could not be more deserved. Congratulations, Olivia.
June Spencer, Global Brown Program Manager, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Kleb Bustev.
This is such a privilege for me to be here today to honor and celebrate Kleb Bustev. Students arrive at Brown to take in everything that Brown has to offer, and we know that Brown has so much to offer. Kleb truly came to Brown prepared to give everything that they have to offer to Brown and to the future communities that they would meet. I first met Kleb in the fall of 2022, not at an orientation event, not in a classroom, but in the disorienting early days. They found their footing in a new country, on a new campus, carrying more than any young person should have to carry. They had come from Ukraine, crossing a border that had not want to let them through, enduring physical and psychological harassment simply for wanting to pursue an education. But they made it to Brown. And from the moment they arrived, rather than turning inward, they turned outward. That's the thing about Kleb. At their core, they're simply someone who cares deeply, consistently, and without condition. And that compassion has become the quiet foundation of everything they've built here. Over 4 years, I have watched them build community with the international students at Brown, within the Ukrainian student community, providing support to their mother and their sister, navigating resettlement in the United States and in Rhode Island, advocating quietly and very fiercely for peers in crisis, driven never by recognition, but by a deep and unwavering sense of responsibility to others, truly caring. And I've seen them respond to profound personal challenges with a grace that's so humbling. I won't cry. Kleb has volunteered for years for the Ukraine Global Scholars Organization, which supports Ukrainian high school students through the college application and scholarship process, raising up other high school students for college opportunities in addition to taking 5 classes and doing all the things that he's doing at Brown. And he came to Brown 4 years ago to study evolutionary biology. Today, Kleb is the 2026 recipient of the James F. Kidwell Prize in Genetics and Population Biology. When I think of Kleb, in just the few short years that I've come to know them, what do I know? Kleb chooses restoration over retribution, healing over anger, joy and wonder always, and in doing so, reminds all of us what genuine leadership looks like. The Jocelyn Award honors students who make Brown better for everyone around them. It is my deep honor to present this award to someone who has made the Brown community better simply by being who they are.
Becky Schusner, Program Coordinator for Office of Military Affiliated Students, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Ellison Mcharski.
Ellison Mcharski is not to be contained in a 2-minute introduction, but I'll do my best. Her work on mental health runs through the very fiber of her soul and is evidenced in her co-founding No Empty Seats, a national student-led initiative and nonprofit with the goal of destigmatizing mental health and bringing an end to suicide. With such lofty aims, Ellison was the right person at the right time to support her fellow students through some of the toughest moments in the university's history. If you can believe it, that's not how I know Ellison best. I know her as a bright spot in my day who pops her head into my office to say hello before heading to the main green to dole out free hugs. I have the privilege of mentoring Ellison, though I would be lying if I said I didn't learn a thing or two from her during our meetings. It's during these moments where she brings such thoughtful questions rooted in the care of others based on her own experiences with a difficult situation. She wants to leave a place better than she found it. But her sense of care is a practical one, where any solution is centered first on the basic needs of each person. Ellison doesn't do this work for recognition, which is why it's so important to recognize her today. Ellison's contributions to the Brown community may be invisible to most, but they are part of what constitutes the foundation of our strength. Like all of the recipients here, Ellison represents the best of us. I'm so excited to present you with this award today and to see how your path continues to unfold. I want to thank you for leaving me a better person than when you found me, and for leaving Brown a better place than when you first arrived. Thank you, and congratulations, Ellison.
I don't know. It's cool. It's good enough. Word. Thanks.
Caitlin O'Neill, Director of the LGBTQ Center, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Jody Robinson.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caitlin O'Neill, and I'm the director of the LGBTQ Center, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our next Jocelyn Award recipient, Jody Ann Robinson. So Jody served for myself and also Felicia Salinas Moniz, the director of the Sarah Doyle Center, as our gender and sexuality peer counselor coordinator, which is very hard work. But at the very beginning, she started during her sophomore year, and a few short months after beginning as just a regular gender and sexuality peer counselor, Jody approached me with a request. Do you remember this? To write her a recommendation for a 5th year's master's program. Though I had initially worried about whether I'd have enough to say, I actually had plenty. And quite prophetically, I had ended it saying, Jody's maturity and great intelligence have made her an invaluable team member. Her co-supervisor and I are happy to rehire her and welcome her back into the position in the fall. She is a joy to work with, and we hope that with continued mentorship, she will be able to rise to the position of Gender and Sexuality Peer Counselor Coordinator in the coming year. Writing this back in 2024, even though I could see Jody's potential taking shape, I could not have possibly foreseen the circumstances of the last academic year. First, Jody would find out just a week before the start of classes that her co-coordinator would be stepping down from the position and that there would be no way to hire a replacement before the start of the term. Jody would help to supervise 9 gender and sexuality peer counselors, attending all their weekly meetings, and helping to orchestrate 6 student-led programs this semester, in addition to our annual Love Remix program. To top it all off, Jody did all of this while acting as a public health undergraduate TA, a member of the Brown Concert Agency planning this year's spring weekend, which I have on good authority you enjoyed, right? And all while Felicia and I were pulled in a million different directions, taking on brand new projects as interim associate deans. Under Jody's tutelage, the GSPCs transformed from a group of deeply caring but loosely connected work acquaintances to a full-on supportive community that never missed each other's events or an opportunity to help one another when they needed it most. The GSPCs also had become a great unifier for all of our staff members across Stonewall and the Sarah Doyle Center, making us more than centers, but something more akin to family. The best way to end this is by reading an abridged quote from a current GSPC sophomore who describes Jody's impact as such. A leader, a coworker, and most of all, a friend. Those are the words I would use to describe Miss Jody Ann Robinson. Jody was a constant support system. She came into every conversation with ideas, passions, patience, and honesty. She was never afraid to address our fears directly, while also making sure we felt comfortable and supported. She made it clear that we were not alone, and that meant a lot for me. Jody Ann is the type of person who makes people feel seen. She does so much work behind the scenes that people do not always notice, but it has such a huge impact on the LGBTQ+ community at Brown. Jody, thank you for your passion, for your commitment, for your kindness, for your candor, and for your genuine love and trust in the transformative work that we are doing on campus. You have touched so many lives here, and we know you will go on to do the same wherever you go, beginning with your time as a choral fellow in public affairs, right? This fall. Jody, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Naomi Ninneman, Be Well Associate Director for Empowerment and Prevention, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Anissa Santi.
Don't miss the signs, Anissa. Hello, everyone. And a special hello and welcome to Anissa's family. Thank you for sharing the amazing Anissa with us. We are so grateful. So Anissa has many tales to tell about all of her work across the community at Brown, and I'm going to tell you from our perspective in Be Well all that we got to see. Anissa joined Be Well's sexual health awareness group, SHAG, as a peer educator in her sophomore spring, and then was selected to become a SHAG coordinator that fall to start her junior year. Also during junior year, Anissa joined our masculinities peer education group, B-Team, as a facilitator. By senior spring, Anissa had added our sexual violence prevention group, SAPE, and our student massage and relaxation group, BURP, to an already very full Be Well dance card. Over these 5 semesters, the Be Well community has been the beneficiary of Anissa's deep generosity in collaborating with and mentoring peers, her brilliance as a facilitator, and her creative capacity to bring about joyful and meaningful learning for so many. Anissa's skills and instincts as a facilitator are nothing short of remarkable. She has the ability to present complex health topics in a manner that is accessible, again, joyful, and completely non-judgmental. Anissa regularly leads conversations on very sensitive topics, ranging from safer sex to gender roles to the complexities of consent, with an intention and warmth that makes everyone feel supported to challenge themselves and each other to truly engage with the discussions. Her authenticity and deep empathy have not gone unnoticed. In fact, her peers nominated her for Be Well Student Recognition Awards every single year of her involvement, and this year there were so many nominations that when I presented that award to Anissa, it went on for quite a while quoting. I've had to be more selective this time, but I want to just share a couple of the things that her peers said, as in two. Anissa embodies community care and wellness throughout her life. Anissa's commitment to caring for those around her is unlike anyone's I have ever seen before. And she is an icon. One of the most truly passionate people I've ever met about health and wellness, an amazing facilitator, and an all-around gift to anyone that meets her. Anissa, you are leaving the Brown community a better, more compassionate place because of all of your care and all of your contributions. And I am just beyond delighted to present you with a 2026 Jocelyn Award.
Mary Jordan, Director of Student Experience, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Perseverance Unger.
Good afternoon and happy commencement and reunion weekend. It is my honor to present this Jocelyn Award to a student leader who defines what it means to lead with both a vision for the future and a profound commitment to the Brown University community. Her name is Perseverance, and her game is perseverance. I've often sort of conceptualized this trait as a simple endurance, but that isn't only what I've seen in Percy. Her vision of perseverance is an active, courageous commitment to dig in when things get difficult and to show up for others when it matters the most. I first met Percy in the summer of 2023 when she joined our team as a fresh Bruno leader. Over the last 3 years, she has emerged as an essential architect of the Brown student experience. When she saw a gap in our civic programming, she didn't just suggest an idea, she leveraged her connection with the Swearer Center and persisted and persevered until voter registration became a permanent and foundational staple for every new student entering our gates. And Percy's shown that same steadfast nature in her work as a gender and sexuality peer counselor, as a Meiklejohn peer advisor, as an English concentrator, and as a student performer and director in some of our musical theater productions. Most importantly for me, she perseveres in her empathy. As the Bruno leader for Muhammad Aziz Amirzakov this year, I will never forget the first phone call that I had with Percy when she had made it home to Oakland this past December. Following the loss of her mentee, Percy did not retreat. And even though I was calling to check in on her, Percy also made time to see how I was doing and pretty quickly turned our conversation to look on how to brainstorm with me, how to create a space of healing for her orientation small group who had lost their cherished friend. And through that call and a few more, even while she was still on winter break, Percy positioned herself to open her home and to share a meal and provide a type of sanctuary for her mentees to mourn the loss of their treasured friend and be in community together their first weekend back this spring. Her support and mentorship of her class of 2029 Cubs, as our Bruno leaders affectionately call their first-year students, has never wavered, especially this spring when it mattered so much. And Percy shows us and shows me that real leadership is the steady, intentional act of showing up day after day for the people around you. And she is a leader whose name is perfectly matched to her character. Will you please join me in congratulating Percy on this Jocelyn Award?
Antoine Bluster, Assistant Director for Student Activities, will now present a Jocelyn Award to Ruth Yinka Banja.
There we go. Yes, you're the one in the spotlight. It is an honor to introduce Ruth, a leader who has spent her 4 years at Brown not just fulfilling spaces, but building community and securing the future of the organization she loves. The class of 2026 holds a special place in my heart as the first group of students I welcomed at convocation. Over the last 4 years, I've had the privilege of sitting in the front row of Ruth's journey. I've watched you navigate the complexities of student leadership, heard your wildest aspirations, and supported you through the inevitable challenges of a rewarding but often demanding Brown experience. When I look for a student who embodies the soul of this class, the dedication, the resilience, and that deep care for others, I think of Ruth. I've worked closely with Ruth while she led the Nigerian and African Student Associations. There we go. Early on, we spent a lot of time in my office talking through the unglamorous side of leadership, financial hurdles, and the weight of keeping an organization afloat. But for Ruth, raising thousands of dollars wasn't the end game. It was simply the tool she needed to build a bigger table. Ruth took on the unique and often difficult challenge of representation. It wasn't enough for her that an organization just existed. She wanted every student from every corner of the African continent to feel a true sense of belonging. We see the fruit of that work in the themes and intentions set at their events, such as Taste of Home at Awambe and Fahari Rising, Colors of Glory. Ruth, you did more than just manage these groups. You transformed them into powerhouses. With the mind of a future economist, the drive of an entrepreneur, and the heart of a community advocate, I know you'll carry that same spirit of excellence with you wherever you go. It is my honor to present this Jocelyn Awards to you.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Castillo Apollonio, and so I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and congratulations to all of our award winners and all of our graduates. This is the closing of the ceremony, but there's a lot of fun that's going to happen this weekend. We do have a reception in the lobby as well, but I'm going to have one request for any award winners today. We're going to do a group photo outside. because of the lovely weather. So if you could all go out the front door, and the photographer will meet you out there to take a group photo of everyone. Congratulations again, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We're hoping for great weather for the whole weekend.